Good evening, YouTube. Matt M. Roy back once again. Well. This one is not going to be for the kiddies. By that, I mean not for the kids. So anybody out there who's got kids, please let them leave the room because I might get a little emotional here. First of all, let me say I hope everybody's having a great evening. You guys have not heard much from me recently. I did a couple of vlogs, but not necessarily any live streams. So I'm going to be giving you my take on the entire COVID-19, this whole situation that our country and indeed our world finds themselves in at the moment. So let me first start by saying that enough is enough. I am done with social distancing. I am done with face masks. The more and more research that I do, and the more and more I start to think about it, I realize that it's not making that much of a difference, folks. Do you know that the CDC, the World Health Organization, they've all said that if we didn't close down the country, I'm talking specifically about the United States right now, and we just let everything run its course, the death toll would not have been that much different. You know, we just surpassed 100,000 deaths in the United States of America as of yesterday. And many health experts agreed that if we didn't do anything, we may have only seen an additional 10 to 20,000. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It really is, and it's sad. I actually just lost somebody very close to me. So and that was actually unrelated to this situation, but what I'm more concerned about is our country getting back to some form of normalcy. Right now, unemployment statistics, 40 million people registered for unemployment this past week. It's up to 40 million. And the unemployment is at 14.7%. That is Depression era. Actually, that's, believe it or not, above the Great Depression percentage for unemployment. So here's what I'm thinking. We need to open the country up, folks. It's got to happen. I know people out there that are hurting. I'll give you a great example. A thrift store that I've been going to for years. That's and I'll give you the name. It's Thrift Store City. I loved it. I love the guy that worked there, Dave. He was very passionate. He was very helpful. They were always willing to lend a hand. They're not going to reopen. They had to close that one down because they couldn't afford to pay the rent. And that's something that I'm seeing over and over and over again in the news. Now, you guys are great out there. I'll be honest with you. You guys are absolutely great. Yeah, I have some people here that are going to disagree with me. I hope a bunch of you do disagree with me. I want to hear different sides of this. And we're going to get into a little bit of this tonight. I didn't announce this because, you know, I really just want to do another spur of the moment live stream, and I wanted to get some differing opinions here. But for me venturing out, and I go out every day, I cannot stay inside. If I stayed inside, I would go insane. Not that I'm sane as it is, but you know how it is. You know how I am. But just looking at the way people are right now, people are tense. And you know what? It's not all because of the current situation. Yeah, people are afraid. You know, they're afraid to get sick. But even more than that, people want to get back to some form of normalcy. We're going to have escalating suicide rates. We're going to have escalating deaths from alcohol abuse, substance abuse. And it's all going to be have to be factored into, you know, was it a good idea to close the country down? or should we have kept it open? And I think that if you factor all that stuff in, it's a push. So we were almost better, in my opinion, this is my opinion, folks, keeping the country open versus shutting everything down. David New said COVID-19 has caused a lot of crap to happen. Like, for example, JCPenney and Belk filed for bankruptcy. I did hear about that. That's another topic, definitely for a future video as well. But a lot of the malls may not even reopen. You know, I live near fairly close to a mall called Chesapeake Square Mall. You guys have seen me filming there a few times. Management and the security really didn't like that, but there's a very good chance that mall's not going to reopen because it had already hit bankruptcy. Chesapeake Square Mall was bought by the city back in 2017 for a fraction of its value, basically because the previous owner, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, they couldn't pay their taxes. So absolutely. Victor Del Fuente, I agree with you 100%. To me, staying inside drives me nuts, and they should reopen the country. Just because this pandemic is going on doesn't mean it's going to stop us from living our daily lives. Absolutely. Now, the other side of that is, yes, there are people out there. I'm not going to name names. I know people personally that are afraid, and again, rightfully so. But to me, it's not worth it, folks. And here's the sad reality. A lot of the people that are succumbing to this are people that are elderly, immunocompromised in nursing homes, people that unfortunately were going to pass away in the near future from something. If it wasn't this, it could have been the flu, it could have been pneumonia or something like that. And I know there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with me, but you got to factor all this in because this country is hurting right now. Do you know that there are people that can't pay their rent? Okay, in my situation, I do feel blessed in the sense that, I don't have to worry about that for the time being. But my situation could change, just like anybody else's. We have to get people back to work, number one. Number two, if we don't get them back to work, we need to pass some type of stimulus package. I truly believe in that. Now, the reason I held this up, this is that $1 million Zimbabwe note that I talked about in the last live stream. This is fast approaching what our money is going to be because inflation is going to be a big problem. The government is printing money left and right to try to stimulate the economy. And if they do another stimulus package, it's going to devalue our money even more. So we're going to have to watch the inflation, folks. But I honestly don't see another option, not another good option right now. Eric's Variety Channel. Unpopular opinion. The Democrats are using this to try to regain power from Trump. It was Obama and he was going for office again. It would be just a bad flu season. Yeah. I totally buy that. You guys know that I lean more right than left, although I do consider myself a moderate. But the liberal media, all the main liberal media is bashing Trump because they said that he didn't do what needed to be done early on. He didn't heed the early warning signs. It's not true, folks. We didn't have any early warning signs. Do you know that China hid this until the very last moment? They hid this from us. I know people that personally that have friends that succumbed to this illness back in January before we even knew it existed. And the sad part is they didn't even know that what their family and their friends died from was this coronavirus. We didn't know anything about it. Dave New, I agree with everything you're saying. People need to get back to work so they can afford to put food on the table and have a roof over their head. We need jobs to afford to live in general. Trump has nothing to do with the economy. It's China and the Democratic governor. Folks, do you know that China makes most of our electronics, most of our consumable goods in the form of electronics, textiles, and things like that are made in China. A lot of you probably already know that, but that is going to be changing. I can promise you that. I know I am going to be one of them, and I know people that have pretty much made a vow they're not going to be buying things from China again. And I can tell you that when all this is over, American-made goods are going to be on the rise. All these companies that outsourced their manufacturing to China back in the 80s and 90s, basically during the different administrations, but all that stuff's going to be coming back here because right now we as a country are so angry at what China did that a lot of us don't want to buy goods from China. It is sad in a way because the Chinese people are really, really good people. It's the government that's corrupt. That's a communist country, and that's unfortunately what you get from countries like that. North Korea. Rick Lakes and Danny Lee are here. They say hello. I'm going to turn up how's the audio, by the way? Can everybody hear me clearly? I know that this microphone tends to clip every once in a while, so an audio check would be much appreciated right now. Awesome computers. Now, I feel that COVID-19 is real. I don't argue that it's not real. I just argue with how our government is handling it. And I agree with careful reopening where we had to follow what Korea has done with COVID, where there's a case, isolate those people and track them, track who came in contact with them. It all screams too much of 1984 Big Brother to me. I don't want to be tracked. Honestly, and maybe that's selfish on my part, but that's just the way I feel. I don't want to be tracked. Now, if I feel ill, if I feel like I contracted something, maybe this, maybe not, I'm not going to go in public. I'm not going to get out there and get people sick. I'm smart enough to do that. Now, yeah, there are people out there that probably would, but I don't think we need to go that far. My argument here is we need to get the country back open. And we tried the quarantining thing. It worked for a little while, but it didn't work as well as we would have hoped. The social distancing, yes. And I'll give you a great example. When I sell a computer, I still social distance. I try to stand 6 to 12 feet apart, wear the face masks. And one cool thing that we're all doing now, I don't know about where you live, but instead of handshakes, we're doing this elbow bump. I was calling it a fist bump, but that's not secure. So when people come up, we kind of go, just kind of elbow bump each other. Danny Lee, I don't think places like Disney should consider opening anytime soon. I agree, and here's why. Disney caters to children, and what are children bad at doing? Listening. That's right. Children don't listen. Children don't social distance. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, the more I ride my bike around my neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods, the more I realize that. And it's really no fault of their own. Children just have not developed the social skills and the means to be able to do that. So yes, I absolutely agree. Disney World, Disneyland, these theme parks should not be opening up right now. I need to take a typing class again, folks. I am just terrible at typing all of a sudden. And buffets. Yeah, and you want to hear something funny about a buffet? Locally, we have a Chinese buffet here called Buffet City that just reopened, but they're not open for seating. You can go in and you can get takeout. I haven't been in yet, though, to see if they actually have the buffet set up or if it's just the just like a call to order where you call your order in, then you go and pick it up. David New, I do agree that places for children should stay closed like Busch Gardens and Great Wolf Lodge, but buffets, they could open if they would just hire someone to scoop the food cafeteria style. That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that because you theoretically could do that. I remember when I worked at Old Country Buffet years ago, that they would have like the carver station where you would have somebody there and they would carve a piece of ham or carve a piece of turkey for you. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a great option. I never even thought of that. Who said that? David New. Good one, David. That's right, Eric. I know your son probably isn't listening. I didn't listen at that age. Heck, even now I still don't listen that well. Do me a favor. Don't forget to click that like button. If you enjoy these live streams, yes, I know I am not a high-end YouTuber. I've had people call me everything from amateurish to just baseline. But if you do enjoy the content, and I do my best to put things out there that are interesting, please take a moment and click that like button. It really does help me out. Yanks one fan 09. Hey man, I'm working away. I am working away here. Walking away, working away. You have to elaborate on that one. Austin Peters here. My take on reopening mass free testing constantly. That will cost a lot. Open up stores and restaurants, take out only. That's basically what they're doing here. Stores will only have a few people in at a time. Let others come out when they have tests and all the PPE equipment. Okay. That's a lot of information. Let me kind of break that down a little bit. So he's saying that you reopen en masse, but basically have the precautions. So basically, restaurants takeout only, no sitting down, no eating in the restaurant. Go into stores, wearing your face masks. One thing I'm going to add to that a lot of people have suggested, I'm not saying that I agree with this, but is basically opening up the country. This is another idea, opening up the country for the young and the healthy, and basically keeping it closed for the elderly and the ill. So basically, people that are immunocompromised stay home, and let the young and healthy go out and live their lives again. The only problem with this premise is a lot of people, like in my current situation, I am living right now at home, taking care of an elderly parent that's ill, has an illness. There's every chance that if I was to go out there and work a regular 9-to-5 job, I could bring this coronavirus home to him, and he could catch it. Now, me, I'm not immunocompromised, so I may never know that I have it, but I could be a carrier. See, that's where they're trying to be concerned. And is there an easy answer for us? No, there's not. I wish there was. I wish there was a vaccine. And that's another topic. That's another topic that a lot of people are saying, that when there is a vaccine, they don't want to take it. And you know what? I respect that to a point. But you have to remember, it's not going to work unless everybody takes it. And the people that don't take it, I could see a time where the government's going to mandate that everybody take this vaccine, and the people that don't, they're going to be like social outcasts. They're not going to be allowed to go to work. They're not going to be allowed to go out to eat. See, all of this is just, it's mind-boggling right now. We have to figure out a way to get back up and running. That's the bottom line. Yeah, the second wave, the idea is that during the summer, just like with a regular flu, because this coronavirus is like a flu, similar to a flu, they're thinking that the heat is going to kill it off. So we're going to be good maybe for the summer. But when fall comes back, it's going to have a second wave of bad cases. I don't know. I honestly don't know about that. I'm not a medical expert. This is more my opinion than anything else. As long as there are no needles involved in the vaccine. I've heard of vaccines that are inhaled, like an inhaler. Whether or not this will be one, no information on that yet. David knew if a COVID-19 vaccine comes out, I'm not going to take it because they will insert a chip in you and electronically track you without your permission. I wasn't going to go here, but I believe sort of what you're saying. Those of you that are Christian probably know of the mark of the beast. Towards the end times, when there's a new world order, one basically leaders, the false prophet is going to come, and you're going to have to get some mark. That mark is going to allow you to buy things, make transactions. Basically, without it, you won't be able to function. But once you get that mark, you're doomed. You're doomed to go down, not up, if you know what I mean. So a lot of Christians have conjectured, is that the right word, have surmised that this mark might be something like a chip that they're going to implant in you. So take that as you will, folks. I mean, it is scary to think about, and it's something that you don't want done to you involuntarily. I mean, if you believe in faith like I do, I don't know. I'm going to be very cautious. And guess what, folks? As I've been talking, do you see that right there? Yeah, that's my first gray hair. This whole situation has put a gray hair on my 37-year-old head. Take a look, folks. You could see it right there. You know what? I'm not even going to pull it out. I'm going to leave it right there. That's a testament to the terrible time we're going through right now. Isn't there a bill going around the Senate to get rid of end-to-end encryption? I'm not sure. I haven't heard of that one. All the bills that I've heard recently are new stimulus packages. I've heard the HEROES Act, which is supposed to give $1,200 to each individual, like again. And that one also is going to pay $1,200 to up to 3 children this time instead of the $500. Another one, it wants to give $5,000 as a one-time payment to each American. Now that they're going to take that from Social Security. So basically, when you go to claim Social Security, $5,000, your first $5,000, you're not going to get it. And they don't even know how that's going to work. Now, that's good. I guess that's good for people that are my age now, but people that are already taking Social Security, they're not sure if they're even going to get that. But those are all the bills that I've personally heard of right now. On top of that, I'm not sure. I'm going to move this over so I can type. Evening, and I forget the N. By the way, not to get too much off topic, love this keyboard. This is that Logitech K750. I picked 2 of these up. This is the, I would say it's maybe like a 2008, 2009 model. They're Mac-based. In other words, they're designed for Macs, but they have the solar panels on them, and they're great keyboards. I have one sitting over there, too. And they work with PCs, too. We got 18 watchers and 6 likes. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate this. Believe it or not, this is for you, for me as much as it is for you. This is like therapy for me. Now that I can't go in and see my regular therapist, right? Austin Computers, we shouldn't do as much one-time checks, in my opinion. We should use the money to fund tests that everything needs to reopen as safe as possible. So we should use the money to fund tests. Yeah, I mean, it's half of one, a third of the other. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to make that much of a difference. We need to get tests that don't cost as much. The tests are just costing way too much right now. Halon 1211 from the UK. Okay, yeah, you guys have had it really bad over there. I think masks, P3 and 100, and social distancing are important. Though the privacy invasion caused by the tracking systems is completely unacceptable, and I will not be voluntarily participating. Good man. I hope you're a man. If you're a woman, I apologize. But that's, you know what? And yes, for the longest time, I agreed with you. I thought the masks were a good idea. Social distancing, yes. I definitely think social distancing is still a good idea. I'm a hermit and a introvert by nature, so I social distance before this whole thing even started. Okay, you're a man. Thank you. As for the masks, well, the jury's still out on that. The CDC has said they're important, but the World Health Organization has said they don't really do that much. And the reason is the average person, when they put a mask on, they touch their face too much. I do it all the time. I readjust those stupid masks. When I'm in the store, I do readjust at least 2 or 3 times because the way my face is, the mask starts going into my eyeballs. Once you do that, you contaminate the mask. So it really doesn't work anymore. That being said, the idea behind the masks is it makes people mentally feel more safe. And if that's the case, I guess I could make an argument for that. But me personally, I want to see the masks go. I honestly don't think they're really doing that much. Ashley Wood, I'm personally concerned about privacy if contact tracing phones are rolled out. I got news for you. Here's a scary statistic. Phones since about 2009, almost all phones have had GPS. If you are using your phone to make payments, Cash App is one, PayPal, believe it or not, they can already trace you. If you have your credit card, basically saved onto your phone via one of those apps and you have GPS enabled, there are ways that they can already trace you. I don't mean to freak you out, and I am not a security expert, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I am in the IT field, so I've had a lot of conversations with people, and yeah, they can already do it. Do they do it? That's the question. It really just all depends. But the contact tracing apps, basically what that is, they propose that we have an app that you literally would be forced to get, and that would track your every movements. And if you test positive for the virus, then they can put a little mark on there saying that you have this COVID-19 virus and you're not allowed out. And it's almost like one of those ankle bracelets. If you leave the house and you go out, they can arrest you. That's why I don't own a phone. I wish I could say the same thing. I conduct a lot of business through my phone. There are a lot of methods out there, and it is kind of sad. I just hope everybody's doing well. And another thing, I hope everybody is getting something out of these live streams that I do. I enjoy doing them. I think that the information I'm giving is beneficial to some of you out there. And I will always say that I am not an expert. I am a jack of all trades, a master of none. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. As Neil Bortz used to say, take everything I say and research it, because you never know when I'm lying to you. Now, I would not be that way. I will not lie to you knowingly. But have I said things that later on were untrue? I'm sure I have. People have called me out on here all the time. We're at 30 minutes. We have 19 watchers and 9 likes. Once again, please help me out. Click that like button. If you really do enjoy my content, please click that like button. And yes, I will be doing, somebody was asking this the other day, I will be doing other types of content, including more fitness related. We're going to talk more about that towards the end of this live stream, but I want to start doing some workout live streams. I also want to be able to do some more fitness related live streams as well. I am going to do a quick quality check here while there's a lull in the conversation. You guys are going to hear me in the background for a minute. There's a lull in the conversation. You guys are going to hear me in the background for a minute. Okay, good. I'm glad that microphone's not clipping. When I bought this Yeti Blue Blackout, I was a little disappointed with it at first, but after tweaking the settings a little bit, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, 14 days seems to be the average for having to isolate after being basically being a person with a confirmed case of the coronavirus. Whether or not that's by design or it's just like somebody arbitrarily said, okay, we'll do 14 days, I'm not sure. I know that in England, 14 days is a fortnight. And a fortnight, okay. When you think of something like the flu, you have the 24-hour flu, you have the 48-hour flu, which is one everybody hopes they get if they ever get the flu. Then you have the 2-week flu. So I'm thinking that might be where that came from. So basically you have, they figure this is close enough to a flu, to what a flu is, for them to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and say 2 weeks, cleared out of your system, you're good to go. And part of that is your communicability. Believe it or not, your communicability, in other words, your ability to infect someone else goes away before you actually fully recover. Same thing with the yearly flu. You might see people going back to work and they may be 2 or 3 days away from being fully recovered from the swine flu or whatever flu's out there. But that's because even though you're still sick, your body has fought off the virus to the point where you can't give it to anybody else. That is true. That is true. I know that for sure. All right, Awesome Repeaters, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate that. George, oh man, George Wills. Oh boy. This is somebody that I want to see again so bad. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, George. He used to go to church with us. He and his wife, we had so much fun. I remember the times we used to go out and eat and overeat in my case. Yeah. But when all this is over and done with, I hope everybody out there gets together with family and friends. Okay, ER. Okay. I know. That was a poor choice of words on my part. I didn't necessarily. The swine flu was just the first thing that came to my head. I'm talking about the everyday yearly flu. Yeah, my bad. Devin Whitlock. Hey, man, how are the cats today? Are the Goodwill thrift stores back open? Yes, the thrift stores are back open. Limited hours right now, and at least for the CHKDs, you do have to wear a mask. Eric goes, is this, I just set my alarm for 2:30 a.m. for tomorrow. This is going to be a rough day tomorrow. You'll have to tell me afterwards what you mean by that, Eric. And I apologize. I'm so bad at this, but I've seen your videos post up, Eric. I just haven't really had the time to watch them. Me personally, I've actually been very busy during this whole thing with the refurbished computers. I'm not going to get all into that right now because that's not what this live stream is about, but I'm going to catch up on some content. I need to catch up on some sleep too because I'm very sleep deprived right now. Jonathan Grant, I'm flying to Georgia tomorrow, stupid early. Wow, what's going on? I want to travel again, folks, too. I'll be honest with you. Not fly. I'm not a person that likes to fly, but I do want to travel again. I feel you, Jonathan. I feel your pain, and I wish I had the answers. I wish I had all the answers, but the best thing I can do is give everybody hope and maybe share some information, share some insight into what we should be doing right now. In my opinion, we need to open this country back up. Once again, for those of you that came late, the reason I held up this Zimbabwe $1 million bill is just to reiterate that with all the money the government's printing right now, our money is going to be devalued to the point where inflation is going to be a problem. And that's one thing I want to talk about. Oh, small vacation. Excellent. So I'm going to end this in a few minutes. But one thing I want to talk about is everybody's future. Now, there are people out there that play the stock market. There are people that, invest in real estate. That's great. But those of us that are maybe not quite that savvy may want to look into investing in goods outside of the market. Now, most of you know that I do the computer refurbishment game. Some people out there, and the reselling thing on average. I don't just do computers. I do other electronics, but things that are that I'm passionate about. And that's important to me. I want to, if I'm not doing what I love, then what's the point in doing it? So a good side hustle for everybody out there during this craziness is the reselling game, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, not so much anymore, but just try to do something out there to raise your income. You can get a second job if you feel comfortable doing that. Facebook Marketplace has just introduced a new feature where you can offer shipping. And the beauty part is, like eBay, the buyer will pay for the shipping. And I'm going to look into that. Actually, I haven't set that up on mine yet because, let's face it, most people are not going to be into having desktop computers shipped. It's just way too expensive. That's great, Jonathan. I'm so glad, and I'm kind of in the middle there. I am not as tech savvy on a lot of the modern content as I used to be. For me, it's really survival right now, and I think a lot of everybody else is in that same boat. And with that, I do want to mention. Let me pull this up here real quick. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. The ADATA SSDs that I have been touting on my channel for a while now, the more specifically the 240 gig SU630s, are back in stock on eBay. You can get them on eBay or Amazon. I prefer eBay for $32.99 each. Great deal on these. They're not sponsoring me for that, folks. I just like these drives. They do have NAND flash, and they do at least have a rudimentary DRAM cache. So they're good drives. I know I've set people up with computers with those SSDs as boot drives, and they were able to game with them. And I get 500, hang on, let me pull this up real quick, 525 megabit read speeds and about 505 write speeds. So very, very, very capable drives for the price. And I just shared the link, by the way. So whoever is interested, you guys gals can just kind of click on that and get yourself a great SSD there. Hey, Lon, I have taken up I've taken up trying to learn component level type computer motherboard repair, car stuff on the better days. That's great. I was there for a time. Unfortunately, a bacterial infection that had permanently damaged my seventh cranial nerve has left me with partial paralysis in my hands. That's why I don't type very well anymore. I don't write very well, and it's really prevented me from doing anything like soldering or welding. That, by the way, Eric, got something for you. I don't know if I'm probably gonna pay my mechanic to do it, but give you guys a quick update on the 96 Tahoe. I was driving down to Virginia Beach the other day, and one of my exhaust tips broke off. Oh, actually, the weld broke, and I had to pull it off. It was just dangling down. So I may be getting that fixed. But Eric, if I don't have a chance to do it before you get here, I think I got a welder in the garage. I have a spare bedroom. I have plenty of food, and I don't know. Enough said there, right? I could use your help, buddy, because you are the car guru. I mean, I can do the basic things. I've done things like brake jobs. I've done, tire rotations, oil changes, but welding's out of my league. And with that, folks, we're going to end the live stream. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to try to do these more regularly. I can't promise I'm going to be able to do one every day, but I will try to do them on a more regular basis. Please continue to like and subscribe. Stay safe out there. Do what you need to do to get through this. And the light's coming, folks, at the end of the tunnel. I believe it, and I hope you believe it. Have a blessed evening, everybody.